Welcome back to another Kray video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any videos. And for people really into the Krays, join our private Facebook group, Krays Crime Lords of London, where you can find stuff possibly unavailable anywhere else. We're an established group and very friendly. The link is in the YouTube description section.
London's East End, north and south of the River Thames, has always been a breeding ground for criminals. But the big-time gangsters, as opposed to the small-time crooks, were a new phenomenon in London. They were men who ran whole empires of criminal activity, who gathered the small fry into their ever-expanding nets. How did they achieve and then maintain their power? How close did London become to being Capone's Chicago? Only now that the big boys, the big firms, if you like, are behind bars, are tongues beginning to loosen. Only now can we form a coherent view of the underworld, as it was, as it is now, and conceivably as it could be in the future. Gambling has always been a rich source of criminal income. When it was legalized in 1960, the criminal fringe grabbed their new opportunities. Throughout the 60s, the Kray twins acquired interests in several gambling clubs. Their own Esmeralda's Barn yielded them about £50,000 a year, although finally it closed in debt. Once the thousands were crossing the green felt tables of London's casinos, the protection racket too became big business. Protection was the staple income of gangsters like the Richardsons and the Krays, and pensions are still being collected all over London. From little East End spielers like this one to the most famous West End clubs. But in the utterly lawless underworld, protection can seem as necessary as it is vicious.
Protection is quite a simple thing. Disturbances are caused deliberately in clubs, pubs, gambling casinos, to cause worry to the owners. And then people just offer or allow us to protect them. And then it goes on, it grows like
What do
a
they
cancer.
do? What do they say to the club owner when they come round?
When they come round, they just say to them, "You're getting a lot of trouble in here, you need some help, boy, don't you?" And 9 out of 10 times, the owner must say, "I do, I'm worried." He asks you 9 times out of 10. You don't ask him. If you're known as being useful or that you are respected locally, you are then asked to give protection. And you are paid weekly in hard cash from either the roulette wheel or the... There's so much ready cash handling in this new gambling syndicate.
What happens if the club owner says he doesn't want to pay?
He has more trouble till he gets frustrated. Drive him out of his mind. He can't exist. People won't use the place. Who wants to take a respectable woman in a club that's known for fights? Nobody.
He was one expert. These two are friends of the Kray twins.
People wanted them in clubs because it stopped trouble and it encouraged the club business. So why would people complain about that?
But wasn't there a certain amount of violence going on?
Very little. Most of the violence they ever used was over personal things. It was very rare that violence broke out over business, clubs or anything else.
Well, John Pearson is a writer, among other things, the biographer of Ian Fleming. He moved nearer to the criminal core of London than any writer had before. He lived with the Kray twins in the months before their arrest to collect material for a book about them. A book which, in their vanity, they were very keen should be written. Having achieved so much power and surrounded by so many influential friends, why did the Krays come a cropper?
Well, I think the truth is that their rise to power had the seeds of its own destruction within it. It's a very complicated story of how they did collapse. And there are very many reasons for it. One of them was purely the money side of it. They never accumulated money as good gangsters should do. They spent everything as soon as they got it. They were overly generous, madly generous all the time, spending every penny that came in. That's one reason. Another reason is that they never really found anyone they could trust behind them who would give them the sort of brains to get into big business on a large scale. They kept thinking they were finding people and they never really got the right person. Third reason, I suppose, is that the people around them, they accumulated a collection of hangers-on who they could never rely on. These are all reasons for it. But I think the basic reason was a personal reason, which is that they themselves were fantasists. They were in this thing not as businessmen, as they presumably should have been if they were going to be top gangsters. They were in it for a peculiar fantasy of their own, which had driven them right to the top. And this fantasy was finally their own undoing. Towards the end, they really felt so far apart from reality. They were on tranquilizers. Reggie was certainly drinking far too much. They felt really that they had no contact much with reality. Things like prestige, their own name, their own reputation, loomed right out of all proportion. They had no sense of what they could do or couldn't do.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please join our Facebook group. It's called Krays Crime Lords of London. We're a friendly, moderated group with over 1,000 Kray and other celebrated gangster videos available for view. There's also thousands of images in the photos sections. The link for the group is in the YouTube description section. I hope we see you there soon.
Leave a like and subscribe.